come on. Get over there. Yeah, there we go. Restream kind of goofing on us. A lot of goofing going on, it looks like. Anyway, welcome to tonight's Extra Extra. I know last night you saw me and Tony. Well, now you get me and, drum roll please, Amy. How are you doing this evening?
Good.
Yeah, we're here for a special episode because we've got a hearing tomorrow morning.
On a school night.
Yeah, school is back in session. Oh, yes.
I just finished doing integers, so homework.
Well, you already are using more brain cells than most of the people who've commented on this so far. If you aren't up to speed, you didn't look at the title, didn't look at the thumbnail, we're going to be talking about the Cook v. Trump lawsuit that's been going down. I guess we should give you the feed in on this. Trump decided that, first of all, Pulte decided to do Pulte things and make up a bunch of horse shit or unverified stuff, or we don't know at this point because really no one's talking other than the stuff we discussed, last Saturday, and it's all really spurious at best as far as the claims against Lisa Cook. And then Trump fired her. What was that, Monday, and then the lawsuit dropped
on allegations.
On pure allegations.
Apparently trying to redefine what for cause means.
Yeah, we'll get into that when we get to the case. But today she dropped the petition and then dropped the TRO because she has got an emergency hearing tomorrow at 10 o'clock Eastern time to get an immediate restraining order against the Fed and Donald Trump from kicking her out. And I'm not going to spoil anything too much, but let's hop on over, take a look at the case we got going on here. So we've got several things we're going to go over tonight. Like I said, we're going to go over the complaint, which is right here. We're going to go over the TRO,
which is the injunctive relief.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
And
which is basically
they're basically getting a preliminary temporary injunction before they
block is bullshit.
Yeah. And then of course we've got Mr. Fish Dick's fucking amicus brief.
He's such an opportunistic weasel, dude. Like when
I saw that,
I'm fairly certain he's full of shit, but
Oh, I'm fairly certain they won't have time for it because, like I said, the hearing is tomorrow at 10 in the morning. We still haven't gotten the response to the TRO from the defendants yet. So, so they go over the introduction with basically what we just did. So we'll skip over that. So this is the interesting part here, where we've got the statutory and historical background on the independence of the Fed, and they go over Fed independence. I'm pretty sure, Amy, you can give a briefer on that one.
No president in over a century has removed a Fed governor. But other than what did you want me to go over? Sorry.
Just basically Fed independence in general and why it's important. So we don't have to read 3 pages. I know that's not
why the Fed
amount, but why is the Fed independent from the rest of the government? Why would you want that? Why would you want this?
So the government doesn't have can't make any say in in interest rates and the economy and
for purely political purposes. Yeah, that is separate and apart from monetary policy.
Partisan political bullshit like we're dealing with now.
Yeah, that's the crazy part of this is that we're having to have this discussion because
that's why they serve 14-year terms. It's important to have both sides represented. I think this is how government should be in general, right? I think all sides should be represented. I think anyone in absolute power, and this is just my personal opinion, no side should have absolute power, because when that happens, this is what we get.
Yeah.
Some fucking bullshit.
Yep. And this is what's crazy about this is it's such obvious bullshit that objective observers can see it, but yet here we are having to have this discussion.
The man yesterday said, they asked him about Lisa Cook, and he quite literally said, "We'll have the majority soon."
Yeah.
That
tells you exactly what this is about. Yeah.
They're not. It's the same way that Pulte's not hiding that he's completely abusing his fucking office. They're not hiding it. They are front and center on display saying, we're going to break the fucking law. And if you don't like it, you can fuck off. Like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah. So the key point here that is going to govern everything we're talking about is paragraph 13 here. One of the statutory devices used to maintain the critical independence is the Federal Reserve is for cause removal protections. This is not at will. This is not some person that like a cabinet level member that Trump can just fire whenever he feels like it for whatever reason and replace them with someone else. There's specific statutorial rules for Fed governors and the chair of the Federal Reserve, and that is
what is it? It's like what? Neglect of duty, malfeasance. What was the other one?
Yeah,
is it in there? I don't remember.
Yeah,
what
it's
the
in
third
here.
one
The
is off
terms
the top
not
of my
more
head.
than 2 years period thereafter and shall hold office for 14 years.
No, I meant the for cause.
Removed
like
for
it's
cause.
very specific.
Yeah. For cause perfection.
For cause.
Yeah. Meaning here it is. Meaning instances of inefficiency, neglect of duty, and malfeasance in office or comparable misconduct.
Yeah.
The key there being malfeasance in office, and inefficiency or neglect of duty. In Humphrey's executor, the Supreme Court unanimously upheld the constitutionality of such statutory protections for government officials serving on multi-member agencies. In Humphrey's executor, the court found that Congress has the authority to restrict presidential removals depending on the character of the office.
And the Supreme Court just upheld this like a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Like this
They'll get into that too.
He was already trying to exert his will on the Fed, and the Supreme Court said no.
Yeah, that was
policy disagreement is not cause.
Mm-hmm. And that was Trump v. Wilcox, which they get into right here. That respondents Wilcox and Harris contend that arguments in this case necessarily implicate the constitutionality of for-cause removal protections for members of the Federal Reserve's Board of Governors or other members of the Federal Open Market Committee. We disagree. No, I don't need that. The Federal Reserve is uniquely structured quasi-private entity that follows the distinct historical traditions of the first and second banks of the United States. So the Supreme Court has already said the Federal Reserve is different. You don't get to make up hokey pokey rules.
Right.
The case law is clearly established on this matter.
Right, and it is different. Like I think one of the departments of labor or whatever, like they can, I think, basically fire at will or whatever, but not the Fed. The Fed is insulated. The Fed is different. Like money in the government and banks in the government, it's like the separation of church and state.
Yeah. For-cause standard is not defined in the FRA, but statutes establishing the standard for other independent agencies expressly limit cause to a standard that is articulated in Humphrey's executor. There must be a specific finding of inefficiency, neglect of duty, or malfeasance in office. Courts and litigants have assumed the standard in cases where such language is not expressed in the statute. The Supreme Court has not defined inefficiency, neglect of duty, or malfeasance in office, but historically the use of the term indicates a neglect of duty meant failing to perform one's duties in a way that caused specific harm to the entity being the administrative group that you're working for. So like specific harm to the Fed or the government in her case, to which the duties were owed. So she worked for the Fed. It had to mean failing to perform her duties as a Fed Reserve governor to the Federal Reserve. That's what neglect of duty is.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the duty of the FHFA director to target and hunt down pretext excuses to fire Fed officials, or
I don't think so.
is that part of his, like, is it when he got sworn in, was that part of it, or no?
Yeah, no, not thinking so. I thought his job was like managing Fannie and Freddie and making sure that it operated appropriately, and that was about the beginning and end of his abilities and official duties.
That's weird.
Yeah. Malfeasance connected to the commission of an unlawful act in the performance of one's official duties. So malfeasance isn't just doing something that is an unlawful act. It has to be an unlawful act connected to one's official duties. So like corruption.
And they're reaching so hard for that too.
Yeah. Corruption, any sort of things like that.
Even so far as to say she controls the Fed controls the interest rates. And again, just to take us back to like day one, the Fed controls the federal funds rate,
which is the short end of the curve. Long end of the curve is controlled by free market participants based on risk and other market features such as return on investment and things like that, inflation risk, government risk, which is why the long end of the curve keeps going up every time
certainly not
Trump does something stupid.
Certainly not the 10 years, certainly not the 20 years, certainly not the 30 year.
Yeah. Or the 20 or the 7 that are kind of in between. The inefficiency standard targets concerns about waste, especially resulting from self-interested dealing. Again, corruption, that sort of thing is what's being targeted here. Things that actually implicate your duty as an official. Like all these things, which I believe she'll get into in here, is generally speaking, dealing with one in their official capacity, i.e., it has to be something tied or rationally related to something she was doing as part of her official office duties. So, give an example outside
abuse
of
the title, like abuse of her job as a governor, like that, like that's what it would be.
Mm-hmm. It'd be like if Paul Atkins decided to give preferential treatment to a certain company on the exchange, like, just to get all the baggies foaming up. It'd be like if Paul Atkins was like, hey, Doug, we're just going to turn a blind eye to what all you're doing, and you catch me up later after I get out of the SEC. How about that?
I don't even know why you would offer up a scenario like that.
For
every baggy community, just their heads just exploded.
But yeah, that's the sort of thing we're talking about here. That would be for cause. And to be clear, the SEC, well, I don't know, because he'd be the chair, so I guess for cause would also apply. See, perfect example. Yes, because it's a board. It's not a singular person that runs the SEC. So, and was designed to ensure that officers did their jobs competently and honestly. The congressional intent of the for-cause standard and the FRA requires a finding of all those things, or one of those things.
Yeah, the 4 things, yeah.
Unless sooner removed for cause. Whether or not for-cause removal provision is interpreted using the standard of inefficiency, neglect of duty, or malfeasance in office, it clearly does not support removal for policy disagreements. Mm-hmm. See Humphrey's executor.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like so the original opinion and then the Supreme Court's opinion. Like it's very specific. It's not like it can only be these, like it very specifically says it cannot be for policy disagreements. And she's not even in disagreement. Like go look at her voting record. It's very rare that the governors dissent, right? We just saw Waller and Bowman dissent this last one because they're jerking off Trump, but it's very rare for the governors to dissent. That's why they have the FOMC. They figure it out, they work it out, then they usually all vote together. She has always voted with the majority. She has sided with Powell, I guess, if I've seen people say or whatever, but she has consistently voted with the majority. And so it's not like she was when they decided to lower the rates, she dissented and vice versa. Like she didn't. She was so she's not even like a political foe, really.
Well, and even if it was like some political thing, I know Trump keeps forgetting this, but I keep remembering the fact that he appointed Jerome Powell.
Yes, he did.
Like his last term. So like,
yeah, he did. But so like this whole like she's a Democrat, like I don't know if the instructions were to look up everyone except for Waller and Bowman and just bring me something. Like Pulte's instructions, his what he was told to do, I don't know. Like the ones that were left. I told you last week, like I have a sneaking suspicion that this like something was bubbling in the background. That's why Kugler left.
Because like
I think she probably was like, I'm not going to deal with this, right? Like, so there was something happening. I think like this is just my opinion. I don't know, but something was happening. There were threats or there were whispers or something, and she preemptively left. The others probably said, "I'm not."
Her term was almost over with. Why deal with all this shit?
So it was find something.
Yeah.
And we'll make it look however we need to make it look. We'll make it look however we need to make it look, because the fact is, the real facts are that we have not seen this. We don't know if those were new purchases, if one was a refi, if one was, we don't have a clue, because all that's come out is 2 signatures,
which is really funny,
and a bunch of allegations with no proof.
Which is really funny, because if he has the signatures, if Pulte has the signatures, he has the loan level documents, which means he should know if it was a refi or if it was a regular new loan and would be able to show that. But he hasn't. Why?
And we don't know if after she bought the condo that they sold the house. We don't know anything, right? We don't know the circumstances. We don't know anything. Mm-hmm. And it's really insane to me that, like, politics aside, like on its face, that people aren't like, we need, like, show me more than just these 2 signatures and these dates, because like what happened to like innocent until proven guilty, like, or being able to like defend yourself. Like,
right, because Pulte went straight out of the gates, and before even the DOJ finished its investigation, announced that
they still haven't finished their investigation, bro.
Yeah,
and even his letter, they put it in I think it's in the TRO thing. Even his letter to the DOJ, which I believe they've gotten now, says she potentially committed mortgage fraud. So he's even saying potentially, but then he's on Maine. And he has
on social media saying that she committed fraud.
All of his rich friends who are going to benefit from lower interest rates coming out and supporting him, saying, oh my gosh, it's fraud, it's fraud, it's fraud. And nobody's going, can you show us the fraud? Or like,
we'll get also into the whole
idea. She hasn't even been charged. That's what I was saying. Like, are they mentally deficient? Like, this person hasn't even been charged with a crime.
Yeah. And
like,
so
it's crazy. What is happening to people? Trump is making people dumber. I'm convinced of it. I am.
Because it's a cult.
It's like a cult. Like I don't know if like watching him, like there's some like laser beams that come out of the screen and like suck your brains out. But like I'm convinced, like I'm not a conspiracy person, but like I'm convinced that it's like it's like a brainworm.
Oh, I 100% agree with you. I think it's exactly like the meme stock people that we deal with. It's a cult. It's a cult now. It isn't. It doesn't have anything to do with logic or reason or Trump policy. It's Trump said this, therefore it must be true.
It's weird.
You can't look at any of the facts or anything else around the situation. If Trump says a thing, it must be true because Trump said it.
But let me tell you how many of them were on Maine when Trump was being tried. How many of them were on Maine ready to throw themselves on the pikes for innocent until proven guilty?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
but the script's flipped now.
Like, I don't care. I don't care a thing about Lisa Cook's politics. This is not political for me at all. It's about like the precedent that this sets, the fallout from something like this, the fallout from a president actually capturing the fucking Fed. Like,
Yeah.
that's what
Taking
it's
away
about for
Fed
me.
independence.
Yeah, that's what's about for me. Like, Pulte, like, P.S., even if they side with Trump, like, Pulte's not getting away from the abuse of office thing. So, like, that's bonus. That's just bonus. But for me, that's my problem with this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We also get into, like, while these allegations are going along, what makes it even more tenuous is what we just talked about, that whole situation, that Trump has made it pretty clear his public frustration with rates not going lower. And that kind of gives this whole context and why he's searching for a pretext to get the resolution he wants.
Correct.
It's the whole idea if he wants to change the interest rates. And then we get to Bill talking about and here again, this is the FHFA director's job to ensure the regulated entities, Fannie and Freddie, fulfill their mission by operating in a safe and sound manner to survive as reliable sources of liquidity and funding for the housing and finance market throughout the economic cycle. Amy, did you see anywhere in there that said report on people's mortgage activities and pull their private loan level documents and share them with everybody?
Absolutely not. And, like, that's the thing. Like, is this guy really going to try to say that he didn't target these people? Because, like, I don't even, like, I have zero respect for Bill Pulte, but I don't even think he's that dumb. Is he?
Zero? That's a lot higher than I thought it was going to be. I was
Like,
figuring it would be negative
do you think
respect.
he's dumb enough to say that he didn't purposely invade these people's privacy? Like,
I mean, that's the argument he's been making, that this was all public information. Sure sounds like he's that fucking stupid.
It's not.
How else would you get the mortgage information? That is completely private documents.
He must think that everybody is dumb as everyone is as dumb as the people who went to the Pulte events. He must really think that, because,
well, but I'm telling you, it's part that and part
nobody's buying it.
I think it's part that and part that he doesn't think anyone's going to question him. He's in the Trump administration now. No one is going to hold him accountable, right? Yeah. Right? Like, that's his bet. I bet 100%.
Well, let's start getting some abuse of office allegations going on, and we'll see what happens there.
Since
we'll see how supported you are.
Yeah, and then she also goes on to the previous people who have been targeted by it, and that he's been targeting Powell, saying that the Federal Reserve is riddled with fraud. Which,
oh yeah,
that's fucking rich, Mister. I got my PPP loan totally.
Do you remember last week when I was saying that when they, their sloppy shit with Powell wasn't working out, so they turned their sights on the Lisa Cook? That's in here somewhere, and I was like, oh look, totally.
On August 15th, Director Pulte sent a referral letter to Pam Bondi, accusing Governor Cook.
And have you seen how many times he's tweeted out, I just sent another referral over to the DOJ. I just sent.
Yeah, what other referrals?
How come you're not posting up their signatures or posting up that they are guilty of mortgage fraud and assassinating their fucking characters and reputations? Why aren't you doing that? Why is it just shot for Lisa Cook?
Yeah, and continuing to beat the drum about Lisa Cook after he dropped it a week ago. Also, by the way, I find it funny that he's just mentioning, there's other people, as if we should just trust him at his word that there's other people that he's going after, because he sure hasn't named any names like he's done with any of these other people. No, so is that true, Bill, or is that just something you're saying?
It's just like his every other tweet is like, I'm here to wait out fraud and abuse. But I think if you look up like the statistics on fraud in the mortgage industry, it's really quite low.
It is. Like, I believe there was a post I saw that was like there was 28 people last year.
34, I think, right?
Yeah, something around that neighborhood convicted of mortgage fraud. Of the crimes that happen in finance, it is infinitesimal. You would need a microscope. And that's not to say that these people shouldn't be guilty of shouldn't be charged, or that people shouldn't go out and look for it.
That's not what I'm saying.
But
for the way that
Bill, I know other people are going to say that we're trying to downplay it. But no,
I'm saying that for the way that Bill talks about it, The numbers don't show.
Don't
like
match
the
up.
numbers show that he's lying.
Yeah.
Because, like, what was it, like 0.7% is the number I think on there. We'd have to pull it up, but it is. It's not much. Like there's not a whole lot that gets past the systems that are in place.
Mm-hmm.
Bill talks about it like he's like, there's so much mortgage fraud in Chicago, and there's this, that, and the other, and like.
Well, that's because the only reason he's saying about like Chicago is
with
because
you, bro. The numbers disagree with you, go. I told you the next one's going to be JD Pritzker or Brandon Johnson.
Has it been or
no? But I mean that's who Trump's doesn't like right now.
Well, because they're going after Chicago right now, and Pulte's still trying to weasel his way to the top.
He's gonna send in the military. I mean, might as well charge him with mortgage fraud. That's for some reason they believe that's their smoking gun, as if like you weren't really walking the line the first 2 times you invaded these people's privacies, but now we're going to go for it again. Like keep going, bro.
And this is the thing that I also find is funny here is this is their game plan is all this week until this came out. They're like, ooh, she hasn't denied it. Ooh, she hasn't denied it. And like she's pointing out here, it's like, I've never been given the opportunity to look at
41. I'm sorry, 45. 2 days after Director Pulte released the referral letter. This is a referral to the DOJ. 2 days, he said he would fire her if she didn't resign.
Yeah.
P.S. She was notified of none of this.
And then
they didn't send her the letter. Like she didn't get served with any of this stuff.
And then 5 days later, that's when, effective immediately, we're terminating her.
Yeah.
Now, I want to be perfectly clear because this isn't the first time we've talked about fraud statutes.
FOMC is on the 16th and 17th. Everything's got to move at a faster rate, sir. That's what Pulte put it in August 15th. So almost a full month.
Well, I know that she gets more into the into the TRO about defending herself, but I think before we get to that, I think we should talk about the last time we talked about the fraud statutes, wire fraud, bank fraud, all of those things when we were talking about Cosisis, the Supreme Court ruling where they talk about
there has to be injury.
Yeah, there has to be injury. Remember when
I said that earlier. There has to be damages.
Yeah, there has to be some injury to some property interest. Either you were deprived of cash or you were deprived of a property interest.
Yeah, even
it can't just be
the same thing he's been posting again today about the 2016 case where the lady, and it wasn't even the lady. If you keep reading that DOJ thing he keeps posting that he clearly hasn't read or that he is blatantly lying about, it was like her landlord that asked her to go get these mortgages. And because she had better credit, and then they defaulted.
Right, and that's the point. You lied about something, and it caused an injury, a loss of a property interest.
Yeah.
Like we had this discussion during the oral arguments for this case that it is not a criminal violation. It could be a civil violation, but it's not a criminal violation to make false statements to a bank and then proceed to pay off the loan. Like,
by the way,
there's no loss of
for
property.
The Federal Home Loan Bank. Like, who's making false statements? None of it makes sense, and that's why the facts matter. Were these,
and that's even assuming that she did lie. Like, if we're going to go all the way down to what they are saying being true, it's still not fraud in the criminal sense.
We don't know the circumstances. And there are exceptions to primary residence. Like I said, there's so she relocated to Atlanta for a job. And one of them is relocation for a job. Like there's so much that the public doesn't know. And they're all just going with the 2 signatures and what Pulte said. But yeah, okay, well, I'm not even going to read that. But relocation for work, because of what I was telling you earlier, relocation for work is one of the reasons. And you can have a home and that's going to where you're working in a different state
Right.
as your primary residence. Like there's different things, and the facts matter, and the facts need to come out.
Right. So before we move on to the temporary restraining order, I once again am here to talk to you about the rules for temporary restraining orders. There are the 4 things that you need to get granted on any sort of preliminary injunction, restraining order, status quo. They're all pretty much the same because they are extraordinary relief. You need a injury that is not reversible. So her being fired and policy being changed at the Fed, that's not reversible. That is an irreversible injury and irreversible harm. So that's one. Balance of the equities. In other words, the equities more favors Lisa Cook than it does Trump being able to execute firing her. Likelihood of success on the merits and general public interest. Those are your 4 check boxes for injunctive relief or any of the sort of things like the temporary restraining order, which the reason why it's a temporary restraining order and we're getting an emergency hearing on it is the temporary restraining order is to establish now quickly so we can talk about things before we put in a more long-term injunctive relief or start dealing with the facts of the case. So a temporary restraining order is, I need it now. I cannot wait for the court to go through doing briefs and bullshit to get an injunctive relief. I need that relief now. Give it to me now. My rights are going to be violated. I need it now.
Yes.
That is a temporary restraining order. So, and once again, also, while we spent a lot of time talking about legal stuff, neither one of us are lawyers. So if you want further education other than our ignorant opinions, do go seek out actual legal advice.
Not legal advice.
Yeah, I know. Not financial advice on Saturdays. Not legal advice on Extra.
But we can read.
But yeah, we can read, which is a lot better than
which I think puts us,
probably
puts us about 70% ahead of everyone else. So.
It puts us on a platform above a lot of people in this issue, unfortunately. So she's seeking injunctive relief. So we'll skip over the background because we again know the background. Humphrey's an executor. We know the factual background. We know the procedural history. We just went over that. So let's go over the legal standard. As we said, to obtain a restraining order, Lisa Cook needs to show that she is likely to succeed on the merits. She is likely to suffer irreparable harm in the absence of this preliminary relief. The balance of the equities tip in her favor, and that the issuance of a preliminary injunction is in the favor of public interest, the public interest at large.
Yeah. Okay.
We
have a FOMC in September.
Yeah. So,
well, and that's really what it's about, right? It's like she, she's fighting to stay in her position, to protect the independence of the Fed, like
right. And that's the key thing that I think we'll get into
because he has publicly said we'll have the majority soon. Like your motives are not unknown here.
And that's the key thing, because normally someone getting fired would not necessarily lead to injunctive relief because they can always put you back into that position where you were at previously, if it was a job. But this is a job with political and economic effects and governmental power. So removing that person and putting someone else in would...
Most companies are at will.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not the Fed.
Right.
They don't you can be fired for no reason whatsoever.
Well, that's more talking about
unless it's illegal, and then you could challenge it. That's
right. Well, that's more to the what we're about to get into, which is likelihood of success on the merits. But from the irreparable harm, which is later down the track here, it's a little different when it's this kind of a position,
right?
Than a normal, like you said, at will.
As it should be. As it fucking should be.
So, our first hook here is substantial likelihood of success on the merits. Defendants violated the Federal Reserve Act. As we talked about, for cause removal has a very specific thing. They must have let's see if it's in here. Aha. Efficiency, neglect of duty, malfeasance in office. And we went over what those are. So if it's none of those things, then you don't get to fire someone. For cause is part of the Banking Act of 1935, which the Senate debated at the same time. This was interesting that I didn't learn about till I read this. That the Banking Act of 1935 was debated at the same time that Humphrey's executor was going on in the Supreme Court, and they waited until Humphrey's executor was ruled on, and then added in the for cause based on the ruling in Humphrey's executor. So we know why Congress put it in there, specifically because they knew what they were doing, and they wanted to wait to see how the Supreme Court ruled, so that way they knew if they needed to put additional protections in there. Because from the start, when the act was passed, they wanted the Federal Reserve to be outside of the reach of the executive power to dictate monetary and economic policy. Mm-hmm. They wanted it independent. So they did everything they could to make it independent. And that's the entire point.
That is the whole last point.
Yeah. Ultimately, Congress did wait. And so, like I said there, that they amended it, they changed it so that way the for cause part was in effect. So let me see if there's anything else here. President seeks permission to do just that, remove Cook because she has departed from his agenda over interest rates. The president's theory of this is the important one. The president's theory of cause has no limiting principle. It would allow him to remove any Federal Reserve Board member with whom he disagrees with about policy by accusing them or having one of his allies within the administration accuse them of anything he invents. I don't see how that's wrong because, again, these are just allegations. Nothing has been proved yet. Nothing. So it'd be like me being the president and Amy's on the board and I don't like Amy chewing her gum and spitting it on the sidewalk. Therefore, she should be fired. Or she had a traffic ticket. She had a DUI driving to work at the Fed. So she should be fired.
Well, and the whole thing, it's politicians, most of DC, right? Politicians go home to their constituents, right? Like they mm-hmm. have a house usually in the state where they live in the constituency they represent, and then they have a place in DC. So I don't know who came up with this idea. Oh, well, we can get rid of all of the people you don't like because clearly everybody lives in two different places. Whose idea do you think this was? Do you think it was Trump's or do you think it was Pulte's?
Oh, I've always said at the beginning that I think it's Trump. Remember when I said last Saturday that the tip Pulte got was Trump literally coming to him and saying, find something, literally fucking anything. That was his big tip. Maybe the first one where he went after Letitia James
that's easy,
was his own idea.
You have to produce that in Discovery, right?
Mm-hmm. That's what's really terrifying about this whole lawsuit.
If someone entered a tip, you would have to, there would be record of that. This is the government, mm-hmm. for Christ's sake. Even if it was Anon, there would still be a way. Yes. He's going to have to produce that, right?
Here's my big worry. Remember the Department of Defense signal chats?
Yeah.
How many of those you think got?
Oh, I don't know about that. I wasn't even talking about that. I'm talking about the so-called tip that came in. Mm-hmm. That would have had to come through the tip line, right? Right. And he didn't even start talking about the tip line until long after, or until a couple days when he started to do CYA, because I didn't see anything about send in your mortgage fraud tips until after.
That thing. That's another thing that Pulte did before. Remember,
he's terrible.
Doug,
he's terrible.
And he did it with Brandon Jones, where it's send in your tips about.
Yeah. But after the fact, he's doing it after the fact, which makes it even more obvious, at least to me.
Right.
And now every other tweet is about his righteous, mission to root out mortgage fraud. Like, give me a fucking break, dude. Like, give me a break. He's so transparent. Like, he's the biggest fucking douchebag.
Well, that's why he sucks at being a liar. Is that he doesn't even lie that well. But setting aside the fact the president's purported cause for firing Governor Cook is invalid because it's nakedly pretextual, the president's proffered justification for firing Governor Cook.
Negligibly pretextual, right?
Yeah.
Where are
nakedly.
you? I got lost.
Nakedly.
Okay, sorry. I got lost. Yeah.
Cook would not constitute cause within the meaning of the FRA, even if it were his true motive. This court need not define the precise contours of the legitimate cause, but it's enough to say that the bare allegations of a potential mortgage fraud is in one's capacity as a private citizen years before taking office, nonetheless falls woefully short. Yeah. Because again, if the interpretation that Cook's lawyers have shown, and so far the case law seems to suggest, that means it has to be something in an official capacity, which means it would have to have happened while she was in office, at the bare minimum.
You know who did do that while they were in office?
Who?
Ken Paxton. Where's his DOJ referral?
Yeah, well, he's got an R after his name, so he's protected.
I mean, the longer that gets ignored, the worse.
The worse it makes this look.
100%.
Because it shows that it's nakedly political. All of them. All three of them.
I don't know that we need much more to show that, but sure.
Yeah. Let's see here. So I
look, and I want to be very clear because people are like, "Oh, you're a damn." Like, no.
No. Well,
I think
first of all, libertarian.
Political persecution or prosecution, whatever, on either side
is wrong.
Is unacceptable.
Flatly wrong.
Unacceptable.
And that's the point about this. This isn't about like left or right. It's about right and wrong and how to go about this. If it was the proper way to do this, Pulte would have sent it without making a big press
for me,
like
I've said again,
let the DOJ investigate, and then once it was done, say this is what we found. Turns out this is really bad.
You send your referral letter over. They investigate. They can, and it should be the DOJ who announces that they're charging. It shouldn't be Bill Pulte at all.
Right.
With a picture of signatures and innuendo and other things like that. Like, that's not how this should have happened at all.
Yeah.
This should have been investigated. They should have had their facts straight. They should have been able to go ding, 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 ding. This is what it is. And the DOJ is charging Lisa Cook, whatever it is. That's how it should have played out.
And it even leads to it leads more credence to this as nakedly political. And it just reminds me, this is like shades of Kilmore or Abrego Garcia right here, where, oh shit, we have to find a way to bring him back without losing face. So we'll just claim that he was doing trafficking and, charge him with a bunch of things. So, and by the way, say we'll still deport him even if he comes back. It's like this is like the same playbook we've seen. This year isn't even over with. This is the same playbook we've seen. All of this is about is the ends justify the means.
Right. Which is not how government works.
Yeah.
It's not how any of this should work. This is corruption and abuse of power and abuse of office and all of the things that everyone should be upset about. Like, I don't get it. I don't get this, like,
I would say, like, you've seen this, Amy, that like no one in the mortgage industry really respects Pulte. They all like kind of laugh at him, like not even behind his back.
They all see what we all see. Like he's not qualified for this position.
Yeah,
he's not. Like, what has he done? He's appointed himself to the board of Fannie. He's like, they're not. I don't believe for a second that they're even a step closer to bringing the GSEs public. Like, what has he done?
Yeah. And even if they did, I doubt he had any part in doing that. That would be more other people in the administration as far as bringing Fannie and Freddie public.
Like his whole time that he's been there, all he's done is attack Trump's enemies.
Yeah.
I don't know that he has done any FHFA work. I really don't.
Yeah. So this is the page that everyone was gawking about, because originally when the complaint first came out, they were like, "Oh, she didn't deny it. She didn't deny it." And then I got to page 18 here, and well, you get to the bottom here, and she absolutely denies it.
Rex, there is a third party. I'm sorry, Rex. There is a third party or third property. It's her investment property, also on her financial disclosure, and she got the best rate on her fucking investment property. She got 2.5% rate on that.
So this is the funny part of this one.
By the way, it's in Cambridge. It's in Harvard. It's an investment property when she was a professor at Harvard. But yeah, there is. And it doesn't matter. Like, you can have as many fucking properties as you want. Like, what we need is the facts. The facts of, like, these mortgages. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me that she bought 2 new properties 2 weeks within, like, each other. It doesn't. Mm-hmm. So to me, that says that something else happened. And like, I was telling you about it, and like, I'll just tell you a scenario. Like, if she's getting a new mortgage on the condo and they're like, well, we have all your paperwork, and what about this house? And why don't we refi this house? I mean, we have all this, right? It's 21. The rates are as low as they're ever going to be, or at least lower than they've been in the last decade. Like, let's get you a better rate. Like, we don't know what happened. We don't know, because that's not what's being sold to the public. What's being sold to the public is, here's a piece of paper with 4 signatures on it. So that means she's guilty.
The lawsuit, South Sink, is in the DC District Court, and it is in front of Judge Cobb. So there you go.
Was it Cobb?
Which is another thing they're making a big deal about. Oh, Judge Cobb was appointed by Biden, so obviously that means the game's fixed for whatever. Fuck off.
Yeah, maybe Pulte can find some mortgage fraud on her before tomorrow morning.
Oh my goodness.
And this is the part here too. Like, even his DOJ,
like I said, page 18. This is like after
his DOJ referral said potentially, right?
So page 18 is the funny one, because after I pointed out there's 2 places in this page where she says they were not, and which she did not. In other words, she's emphatically denying the claims, any and all of them, that she committed mortgage fraud. But you want to know what part of page 18 they picked out of this, Amy, to find their next fucking talking point?
Oh, the clerical error?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Even though it's bracketed by 2 emphatic denials about anything. Like, this was funny, because as soon as I was pointing out that she absolutely denied it, they switched around and started saying, well, clerical error. Well, if you look at the entire context of the fucking paragraph, it says, consequently, neither types of offense, which also references up here to the potential. But actually, what they're saying
is that, if you read it says, and the president they said, and the president and Director Pulte have not even alleged explicitly that Ms. Cook benefited from any clerical error.
It's about preempting any arguments that they're going to make.
They're not even saying that.
Yeah. That's the point of this. It's not her admitting there was a clerical error. It's saying they haven't alleged it. And even if they did, they'd still be fucking wrong.
Yeah.
So, like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no crime. There's no investigation. There's no, like, due process. There's no nothing. Nothing.
Yeah. And that's the point from this right here, is that, like, that's the point here. They're desperately cherry picking for anything to try and grasp.
But, like, the way that I read that, the way that I read that is they're not even saying it was something as small as a clerical error, because that would be the least of it, right? Like, they're not even saying that.
Which this also brought up another person who said, well, even if it was a clerical error, if she signed the document, it has a perjury statement to me. Okay, perjury has to be that you knew you were making a misstatement and continued down the road of that misstatement, even when you knew it was wrong. If it was a clerical error and she still signed at the bottom line, if she came back later and said, oops, I'm sorry, I didn't realize the document said this, and that was wrong, and it corrects the record, it's not perjury. That's why it says, to the best of your knowledge, I am doing this as true and accurate as I know at the time.
It says something like that you intend to.
Correct.
Right? Like, there's the language is important, and again, like, I mean, I can say this over and over and over again. They are spinning this. They are spinning a narrative without any evidence or anything else, and it's working. It's working because it's Pulte, and this is what he does.
Right. It's been a pattern of behavior up to this point.
I mean, he had an entire community convinced that he had it in with Ryan Cohen, and he was somehow, gonna save their shitty investment. Like,
and his network conspiracy theory of how Brandon Jones was hiring every hater that he had on the internet.
Oh God. Like, yeah, I mean, you can name like a million ways that Pulte has done the same thing, right? Like, yeah. And he keeps getting away with it. So
yeah. And until someone stops him, he'll keep doing it because he's proven that he just doesn't give a fuck. Most of these people. So President deprived Cook of her Fifth Amendment rights and the Federal Reserve Act by purportedly firing her without notice and a hearing, which this one I'm not so sure about the law on, because let's see here. So the Supreme Court has expressly stated that there was where a statute provides a public employee with a for-cause removal protection, the employee possesses a property interest in her continued employment.
Right.
The D.C. Circuit recently reiterated that.
Correct. The ongoing viability. Wait, go back. They recently reiterated that the ongoing viability of this precise property interest. Yep. There you go. There's the definition. Property interest exists if the employee can be removed only for cause.
Because Governor Cook possessed a property interest in her possession on the board, the Due Process Clause guarantees that she cannot be removed without, at minimum, oral or written notice of the charges against her and an explanation of her employer's evidence and an opportunity to present her side of the story.
Of which she got none.
Yep.
None.
This is the key part that I was missing on this one.
There are not even charges. Her employer has a screenshot of signatures.
Yeah.
Great evidence.
The Supreme Court has explained some opportunity for the employee to present her side of the case is recurringly
Yep.
Yeah, I got that right. Is recurringly of obvious value of reaching an accurate decision, even where the facts are clear. The appropriateness or necessity of the discharge may only be in such cases. May not be in such cases. The only meaningful opportunity to invoke the discretion of the decision maker is likely to be before the termination takes effect.
Right.
Governor Cook will suffer irreparable harm absent relief. I think this is the one where further highlights irreparable nature of Cook's harm during the cabinet meeting in August 26th. President Trump said he's already named a group of people to replace her.
Correct. That was at that CAD meeting you were showing me clips of that was just astounding. But yeah, he said it there. And then yesterday doubled down and said, we'll have the majority soon.
Yeah. To demonstrate irreparable harm, a moving party must satisfy two requirements. First, the harm must be certain and great, actual and not theoretical, and so eminent that there is a clear and present need for equitable relief to prevent the irreparable harm. Yep. Second, the harm must be beyond remediation. In other words, you can't undo it. And if Trump got his way before FOMC and got to change policy, by definition, not irreversible. We've already plowed the building.
Well, I mean, it's setting a precedent. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This court
that he controls the Fed. Like, can you even that's the scariest statement of all. That Trump would have precedent and control over the federal bank.
Yeah. Irreparable harm in cases of removal of individuals appointed to independent boards is based on their unlawful removal of office by the president and their obviously disruptive effect that such removal has the organization has on the organization's functioning. Mm-hmm. Finding that plaintiffs had established irreparable harm via the threat of being removed as members of the U.S. Privacy and Civil Liberties Oversight Board. Here, President Trump's unlawful attempt to remove Governor Cook is causing her and her ability to carry out her oath to protect the Federal Reserve and subsequently our nation's economy as irreparable harm. So it's not just the irreparable harm to her, but to the entity and the institutional, an institution in general.
To the Fed. 100%.
Balance of equities and public interest favor Governor Cook. The independence of the Federal Reserve is what she's going to bring up here again, and that the public interest in a financial and stability and economic prosperity is clear.
All right, real quick. This is what. Sorry.
So we're already.
This is what we're going to take a break here. Mm-hmm. So Pulte posted 3 strikes and you're out. Today, U.S. Federal Housing sent a second criminal referral in the matter of Lisa D. Cook related to a mortgage on a third property and alleged misrepresentations about her properties to the United States government during her time as governor. During her time as governor of the Federal Reserve. On April 7th, 2021, Cook entered into a 15-year mortgage on a condominium in Cambridge, Massachusetts, representing it as her second home. Only 8 months later, on December 1st, 2021, Cook signed an ethics form with the U.S. government that this property was an investment in rental property. In subsequent filings from 2022 to 2025, Cook consistently listed this property as an investment rental property, not a second home. Representing the property as a second home may have allowed Cook to secure a lower second home mortgage down payment and rates, as investment properties typically carry higher down payments and higher rates due to increased risk. Additionally, Cook allegedly misrepresented her Atlanta, Georgia property from 2022 to 2025 to the U.S. government as her residence, despite evidence suggesting it was being rented out to tenants. Still no evidence of that except for a Zillow listing where the listing got pulled. Similarly, Cook declared in 2020.
It's just him rehashing the same shit,
No, it's not.
Right?
No, it's not. Similarly, Cook declared in a 2025 government filing that her Ann Arbor, Michigan property was her personal residence. However, we have reason to believe that as of 2025, the Ann Arbor property is being used as a rental property, not a personal residence. These inconsistencies appear Cook made additional multiple false representations, including to the U.S. government regarding. So here's what it is. This filing is saying that this happened before she was in office. They're trying to rope it in to when she's in office. And even these allegations, it's a lot of may haves, could have. She declared in 2025 filing.
I think this just proves that he is.
However, we have reason to believe this property is being rented out. Like everything.
Reason to believe. Why don't you just go investigate if it is?
This is a Hail Mary because they know.
Also, this proves that he is indeed getting his signal calls from the administration because he wouldn't have done this until after the arguments came out for her defense so he could then shift the fucking goalpost.
No.
This is absolute proof of the incestuous nature of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
They're changing the narrative in real fucking time because they know they got caught with their pants around their fucking ankles.
Mm-hmm.
So again, also you made the
Well,
point
even
that
on her. So he's saying that on the mortgage, she represented the property as her second home. She listed on her financial disclosure investment rental property.
which
So
one of
he's
these
saying
screens
that
are you
on
looking
the.
at?
So he's saying.
Yeah, because I'm seeing it like, where's it saying that she said it was her primary residence? Because it says
She didn't. He's saying that she said on her mortgage
Mm-hmm.
that the home in Cambridge, where she lived when she was a professor at Harvard,
Mm-hmm.
right? At some point, this timeline's nuts, but when she got the mortgage, she said it was a second home, and I don't know.
Because at the
Did it
time it was a
change?
home when she was a professor, and then it changed over into an investment property when she.
So he's saying that she listed it as a second home on the mortgage so that she could obtain a better down payment.
I guess. When was this posted? It's like what?
Again, it's like scant
30 minutes
evidence
ago?
and
Okay.
a lot of may-haves. We have reason to believe. Like,
This is just trying to tee it up for the hearing tomorrow.
why aren't you coming with evidence, especially now, bro? Like, more conjecture, more supposition. Like, this is a
Unless they find something to tie this together. Unless they find something to tie this together by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, this is going to get roasted alive in front of a federal judge, and then Pulte's just going to be even more shit. Because may-haves, possibly, like, no, you're not doing an investigation. This is clearly trying to cover your ass at the 11th hour. I don't know if bonds are the right thing to buy, because if this keeps going down the way it is, what's like interest rates have been
you're
blowing
eroding
up.
trust. Like, if you take away the independence of the Fed, like, and you break that trust, you break that centuries old trust or century old trust. Like, like, the irreparable harm is not just to the Fed, but to
everyone, because
to the
we
market,
saw what happened.
to people's trust in.
Last Friday, interest rates both went up and the dollar collapsed.
Yeah.
On Friday, and then again on Monday when he absolutely fired her.
Yeah. So
we already know what's going to happen. You actually should be probably short bonds, South. But like, this situation is like, it erodes trust, where people not only are leaving the dollar, they're fleeing long-term treasuries, which is doing the opposite of what Trump wants, because it's pushing up the interest rate. Like, this is like the absolute definition of shooting yourself in the foot, then the kneecap, and then in the face. Because you couldn't wait until Jerome's term was up at the end of the year. You had to have your shiny new bike now, and decided, if I don't get my bike, I'm going to throw a temper tantrum right here in the fucking Walmart parking lot for everyone to see. Mommy won't give me my bicycle. Mommy won't give me my interest rates.
This is contrary to what the fake news media says. U.S. federal housing FHFA has criminally referred people of both political parties and various ethnicities as we're focused on prosecuting mortgage fraud out of our system. Then he quote tweets himself and says, "Notice is hereby made that anything to the contrary is false and defamatory, as previously stated."
Defamatory. He would know about defamation, since he does it all the fucking time.
Right.
He would know about defamation.
Check on these kids. We'll be right back.
All right. Yeah, he would know about defamation. He constantly defames people all the time on his social media platform. So, I'll take his word for it. He is the king of defamation. He would know what it is. He does it all the time. While Amy's away, we got a few other things to take care of. James T. Fishback, or as I like to call him, James Fishdick, because he is nothing but a dick waffle who sucks off Pulte constantly on X. I don't know if you guys are aware of him, but he said that he was going to be filing a leave to file an amicus brief, which he did do, but all we got is your standard, amicus disclosure in his attempt to contact parties. He didn't actually file a proposed amicus brief, so there's nothing really to talk about with him.
Well, there is, because he says something along the lines of, go up a little, is an American institutional investment firm that manages investments, including U.S. Treasury securities and interest rate derivatives. First, I don't know what interest rate derivatives are. But second, because I've never heard that. Second, if you go, he's a single fund ETF that follows the SPX. Tesla Convexity in the Azora Golden Age, ticker gauge, coming soon. So we have like his meritocracy thing. I think it's like, he calls it like DEI drag or something, but it's an ETF. It's an ETF that follows the SPX. Like,
okay.
Where
also with a website that looks like it's out of the early 2000s.
Treasury investments and your interest rate derivatives, sir. I don't know. Maybe his fund has some. I don't know. But
hire a web designer.
I mean, just like an opportunistic, like he's just trying to ride these coattails, and it's just pathetic.
But it's absolutely silly. I don't know what else to add to it at this point. That I guess we'll have to go over Pulte's new accusations, but they don't seem any more concrete than the previous ones. Like you said, it seems highly like a Hail Mary right before the hearing.
Oh, now he's changing. He's changing the Atlanta thing to Cook attempted to, did, and or currently is renting her property in Atlanta. So before it was the Zillow listing and she did rent it out. Now it's,
maybe, possibly.
Maybe it could be. Maybe it was.
Yeah. And like you said, it just seems like a Hail Mary right before the hearing.
And then he puts in bold letters, while serving as governor of the Federal Reserve, Cook appears to have falsely represented her Michigan property status to the United States government. Again, we have seen nothing about her property status
from him
or anything.
And even in here, it's not.
And he's still not showing it.
Yeah, these are all clips, screen grabs from her disclosure to the there's no actual proof that there was anything.
Mm-hmm.
Why do this? Because this isn't going to help at the hearing. This isn't going to help the government's lawyers.
Nope.
Do you actually think he?
So now, okay, so this is what he's been alluding to, by the way. So analysis. He says the Department of Justice should review to determine whether a violation of the criminal statutes occurred, specifically 18 U.S.C. 1343 wire fraud.
Again, it can't be wire fraud because no one was defrauded of a property interest.
18 U.S.C. 1341 mail fraud. 18 U.S.C. 1344 bank fraud. 18 U.S.C. 1014 false statements to a financial institution.
Maybe.
And or relevant state and federal laws. So now not only is he accusing her of mortgage fraud, he's accusing her of wire fraud, mail fraud, bank fraud, and false statements to a financial institution.
And
again, she was a director at the Federal Home Loan Bank in Indianapolis at the time that this went down, from January of 2021 through May of 2022. So before and for quite a while after, when she was apparently committing very serious criminal acts.
Really interesting. We have not seen the government's lawyers show up yet. We've seen Mr. Fishstick's lawyers show up to file the amicus brief. We've seen Lisa Cook's law firm of 4 lawyers show up. Or 5, excuse me. And we've seen the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve's legal counsel show up. Not a single dick lick person from the executive branch has shown up yet. And it is 10 o'clock on the East Coast.
Well, and
we
so
are
he's
12
saying,
hours away from.
He's saying in 2025 that she represented that the Ann Arbor property is still in her personal residence. And the picture is underneath her financial disclosure form, which was filed in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So that wasn't 2025.
And also that it was her.
Yeah, this is
so
the
in
most
2025,
pathetic.
Cook represented that her Ann Arbor property is still her personal residence. That the
That
property
screenshot
is
is from
being
her
used as
financial
a rental.
disclosure.
So
which was
like
in 23.
Who cares? Because we've discussed, like, didn't you say after 12 months you can?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It does not matter.
So again, this is such a gigantic fucking reach.
Yeah, like even if in 2025, it can be your personal residence that you rent out. Mm-hmm. Like unless she refied it and said, like, it doesn't matter.
See, that's the piece of the puzzle that makes way more sense, but like we don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And again, like we said,
after
none of these things.
After 12 months, you can do whatever the fuck you want, and you don't have to tell the lenders that you're doing it.
Yeah.
Like if you're not redoing anything, like.
Yeah. And like again, none of this stuff implicates like he's. I mean, I'm not going to play frickin', whataboutism games as much as that might be true. Like, but as we've.
If she is, like, like, I'm not even going to do whataboutism. If this stuff is true, I will sit right here and say, I was wrong.
Oops.
This is true.
Yeah.
Right? But you show me that.
Yeah.
Until then. I don't believe a fucking word this guy is saying.
Even then, I put back up,
and she's under no obligation to say whether or not she's renting out her property or not. The only place that matters is if she is taking in rental income. She would need to report that.
Yeah,
on her taxes
as a tax thing.
On her taxes,
right? And also, while we're here, again, since
is he pulling her tax records? I mean, why not? We've already invaded her privacy at this point.
And again. Just to point out, since he wants to accuse her of wire mail and bank fraud while we're at it, again, what property interest was taken? Okay? Just a reminder from COSIS, what property interest was taken? If she is still paying on those loans, what property interest was lost?
If she's in good standing, like if she has paid her mortgages on time every time, like... there's no damages. Like there's no injury here.
Now, some of you might find that disagreeable, and I wouldn't disagree if you were, lying to get a better mortgage. But again, not criminal. If the bank wants to pursue that civilly, totally laws in which you could file for civil actions if that is the case. Again, if that is the case.
But what's that?
But it's not criminal.
Values and property on purpose. And like, again, she was a director at the Federal Home Loan Bank during this time. Yeah. This is a highly educated woman. Like, I'm not buying this shit.
Especially since, Bill Pulte has a history of lying about a lot of things. So, yeah. That's really
This is just, that's what I'm saying. This is,
Yeah.
they're right, and they know that the attorneys are right in saying that this happened in 21 before she was the Fed governor. This is a Hail Mary to try to circle it back to a time when she was Fed governor. This was
because they know they're going to get crushed on that argument.
This is something they didn't think about in the beginning, and now it's here, and
yeah, that's and again, I think that proves
and if this
the
is
collusion
false,
that's
this
going on.
backfires so hard. Like, the risks that are being taken are just astronomical here.
Speaking of that, have we heard anything back on the other two charges that he's made about Schiff or from James? Like, because I've not heard anything about those either.
I do think there was a reply to Pulte.
I know Schiff got lawyers.
Yeah, I think there was I don't know if it was filed. I don't know. We'd have to look it up on the docket, but I do think that there was a reply. 1 second. Go ahead. I do think that there was a reply about her mortgages.
Okay. Well, that's interesting to know. I'll have to look that up. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything that we wanted to catch with this. Just wanted to make sure everyone was up to speed. The one
before
last
tomorrow.
Yeah, before tomorrow, since we're getting an emergency
if anybody wants to listen, you can call in on the 1-800 number that I posted it on my Twitter feed.
Right there.
Yep. So, and just as a reminder,
on court listener,
you cannot record, rebroadcast, repost, like, can't do any of that.
Do not ruin it for all of us. There will be more hearings, I guarantee. Don't ruin it for all of us.
Right. So, but yeah, you can listen, you can call in and you can listen to the hearing for yourself. So,
yeah.
Yep.
And that will be the call-in number, and then the meeting ID you'll probably have to enter once you're in there, and then it'll drop you in, and then they will force mute you, and we'll get to listen to all this together. So it will be interesting. Unfortunately, I'm not off, so we'll talk about it Saturday probably.
Remember, kids, there's always a purpose. So we'll see how that plays in court.
Yep. And we will get back to you Saturday about our thoughts on it, having heard it and everything. I'll make sure to take notes. But till then, I think
I will take notes as well. I'll be listening.
Yeah. So have a great rest of the evening, and we will see you guys Saturday.
Bye.
Bye.